An argumentative writing is a form of writing in which you attempt to persuade the reader. Take note, you persuade the reader. That means you try to convince your reader to agree to your point of view on a controversial subject matter. So how do you convince your reader? The answer lies on how well you present your viewpoint. Good. That is one feature of an argumentative essay. Presenting your viewpoint. Now, how do you present your viewpoint? I'm going to tell you step by step of what you need to do so that you can present your viewpoint appropriately and score very high in your upcoming exams. Now, the first thing you need in your presentation of viewpoint is appropriate introduction. That's the first thing you do before you start writing. Now, in the first paragraph, which is the appropriate introduction, you use the usual vocative. What do we mean by that? You have to address your audience appropriately. For instance, you could say, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you address your audience. Now, the next thing, still in that same paragraph, is state your stand for the subject matter. Your stand is either you propose, that is, you agree to the motion, or you are against the motion. When you are against the motion, you oppose. So let's just assume you are proposing. You are for the motion. You have accepted the motion. So after addressing your audience, the next thing should be, I am here to propose for the motion that female children are better than the male children. Or female children are more beneficial to the parent than the male children. Good. So when you do like that, it shows that you have clearly stated out your stand on the essay writing. Now, after your first paragraph, your introductory paragraph, your next paragraph is definition of preposition. I repeat that, definition of preposition, or you give background information. Yes, because a lot of arguments and disagreements comes up because a lot of people are poorly misinformed. So this second paragraph, you will define the subject matter of the debate or give your background information. You may even sketch the history of the event leading to the present argument. In that way, you will help your audience to really understand what you are talking about. Now, after the second paragraph, the next thing you do is proof of proposition. In this paragraph, you use a logical proof to change your reader and your audience mind. Where possible, you may use facts. You may even use statistics to support your arguments, and you may also number your points for clarity purpose. Now, after stating your point appropriately, and what will actually help you to understand your spelled out your points of conviction. So in that way, it will help you to keep writing. It will make your writing to keep going and your speech will flow if it is a speech. Now, another point after you make a logical proof of your presentation, the next paragraph is disproof of competing arguments. Yes, I repeat that again, disproof of competing argument. What do I mean by that? You have to assume your opponent point and then you refute your opponent point and give superior points. Yes, because of the mark of a skillful debater is one of the mark of a skillful debater is the ability to anticipate. You have to anticipate the competing arguments of of your opponent, and then you disprove of it. By doing it, you are able to keep your opponent off the balance. Yes, for example, you could say, my opponent may argue that male child is beneficial to the parent than the female. Then you present. You add um, one thing my opponent forgets is that, then you state your superior point. Then after this fourth paragraph, you move on to the last and the concluding paragraph. In that last paragraph, you address your audience again. You say something like, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that with the above proof, I have been able to convince you that the female child is better than the male. Okay? Now let's review. Okay, now pay attention to your screen. Here you can see the question, a typical question of a debate, clearly stated. The question says, you are a speaker in a debate on the topic, male children are more beneficial to parents than female children. Write out your contribution for or against the motion. Now, let's review the answer as well. The writer begins his debate with usual vocative. We can see that the writer acknowledged his audience. He addressed them appropriately. Hence, we have Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen. Good. Now, after that, after acknowledging his audience, the writer also states his stand for the controversy. Now, immediately after his address, he now added, I am here to oppose the motion that male children are more beneficial to the parents than female children. So the writer is actually against the motion. He does not agree to the motion, so he's there to oppose. So he has clearly stated his stand. Now, after that, he has a background information why majority of people believe in male children than in female. Now, what's the background information? Let's look at the second paragraph. It reads, in the olden days, male children were given priorities over the female children because our parents believed that at a certain age, female children will get married to start up a new family and abandon their parents. Hence, having a female child was totally out of point and something not to brag about. So in the second paragraph, we see that the writer has pointed out the reason why majority of people seems to believe more in the male child, because they feel that at some point the female child will get married and abandon the parents. So he has made his background information to come out. He has made an historical background of the topic. And remember, I told you, you may also choose to define the topic on ground. Then now let's move to the third paragraph and see what the writer has. Now remember, I told you in the third paragraph you have to have a logical proof. You have to prove your proposition, and that means that you have all your points that will make your audience to be absolutely convinced in what you are saying. Now, what's the proof of the writer? What's the logical proof that the writer has presented? Let's review, let's read together. A female child is a compassionate, kind, sensitive, sympathetic, and understanding child. She takes into consideration the feelings of her parents, and as a potential mother, she treats her parents the same way she would love to be treated by her children. So a child with these attributes are always beneficial to the parents because they would always remember to look after her parents, unlike the callous and nonchalant genders. So the writer has given his logical proof that a female child is more compassionate, is more sensitive, is more sympathetic than the male child, who is callous and nonchalant. And with this attitude or attributes, they are likely to be beneficial to the parents than the male child. Now let's see what the second paragraph says. In many parts of the world, girls often outperform boys academically, especially in early schooling. Thus, the female child is more diligent and more focused in their studies. These attitudes enable them to be the best in their professions. They make more money and add a great deal of respect to the family name. So this other paragraph too is also a logical proof made by the writer to convince his audience. What is the proof here? The proof is that the girl child add more respect to the family name. Yes, because they concentrate in their studies, they are diligent in their studies, and they are likely to take their profession seriously. And with that, they would be able to add respect to the family name. Now, let's look at the next paragraph. It says, my opponents may argue that a female child is a total waste to their parents because they may get pregnant even in their parents' house. What we are saying, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, is that discipline is the key. A male child who lacks discipline may as well get the female pregnant, drop out of school, and also become irrelevant to his parents. So if the parent trains the female child appropriately, she will always be better than the male child. So what we see in this fourth paragraph is that the writer has anticipated his opponent's point, and then the writer has presented a superior point. The opponent, uh, uh, the writer anticipates that the opponent may say that the female child is not beneficial to the parents because at some point they would get pregnant. But then the writer counter that point with a superior claim that even the male child can uh, refuse, can drop out of school. Yes, they can drop out of school because they get a female pregnant. So the key word is parents should train their female child appropriately. If they do so, the female child will always be better than the male child. Now, after that, the writer has the concluding paragraph. Now, in the concluding paragraph, the writer addresses his audience again and also restates his points. Now, what do we have here? It says, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that with the above points, I have been able to convince you that the female child is more beneficial to the parents than the male child. So, this is a standard essay writing, and I believe